Tonight on DC News Now at 9, a vigil in honor of 3 football players from Prince George's County who died in a crash last week.
A few words wouldn't do enough justice. You know, amazing athletes, amazing friends, amazing sons.
How the community is remembering them. An Arlington shop burns to the ground, and investigators say fireworks are to blame.
I have to rebuild everything. I have to go back on my feet again.
We're talking to the owner, who says he's looking at tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage.
Hi, everyone. Heading into the weekend with warmer temperatures. I have your forecast. It's coming up.
And President Biden back on the campaign trail after defending his decision to stay in the race. The latest reaction from his own party.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Lots of news to get to tonight, but we begin with a live look over the nation's capital. A lot of dark clouds in that shot here, unfortunately, alluding to the potential for storms over the weekend. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Chris Flanagan. All right, let's get right to the forecast. Another muggy night out there, but Chief Meteorologist Jess read some areas already seeing some rain right now.
Yeah, we're really just tracking rain for the rest of tonight. Going into the weekend, we do start to dry out. So you're noticing those increasing clouds. This storm system, we've been waiting all day long for it to kind of materialize. It's been running into a ton of dry air, and so it's been eating away at some of these storms and finally seeing some activity now. Let's do this radar tour out towards Montgomery County, central areas of 270. There's no lightning associated with this storm system right now, but this is the central part of that area that's dealing with a pocket of moderate to torrential rain. As you make your way over to western communities into Haymarket, Chantilly area south of 66, that's some substantial moisture that we're seeing out towards Manassas, a few rumbles of thunder, and then this has been impacting for the last hour I-95 corridor streaming up towards the Richmond, from the Richmond area, where they have been dealing with a good pocket of moderate to torrential rain. Finally getting a break out towards Calvert County, but still have a flood watch that's going to stay in place until midnight tonight, and then things will start to die down. Dew points right now, they're into the middle 70s, and so that's what's sparking up kind of the activity that's growing in enhancement right now. Upper 60s for Kaiser into the Cumberland area, and temperatures, they were a lot better this afternoon, but it makes a difference when you have humidity levels that continue to kind of roar across the region. Really, Chris, this temperature-wise is about to be a distant memory. Heat and humidity rising back up to the 90s, and the humidity is going to start to get really outrageous for your late weekend. We'll look at heat index values coming up.
Well, tonight, community members honoring the lives of 3 Wise High School football players killed in a car crash last week. Police say a driver hit their car in Upper Marlboro while trying to pass at a high rate of speed. Our reporter Mariel Carbone is at Wise High School, where tonight's vigil for those alums is wrapping up. Mariel, certainly a lot of heavy hearts there tonight.
Yeah, Chris, there really was. The losses of these 3 men, incredibly difficult for friends and family here. All of them played football here at Wise, went on to play football in college, and one of them even recently drafted to play for the Minnesota Vikings. Tonight, family and friends trying to still make sense of what happened. In a crowded gymnasium, friends and family held each other tight. Support through the sadness as they honored the lives of 3 young men.
A few words wouldn't do enough justice. You know, amazing athletes, amazing friends.
24-year-old Kyrie Jackson, 23-year-old Isaiah Hazel, and 24-year-old Anthony Litton Jr. were killed in a car crash earlier this month. Friday, community members gathered at Wise High School to remember the 3 standout football players.
It was a sad time.
Amari Holmes grew up with Linton, a nearly 20-year friendship that started on the basketball court.
I mean, it was fun-loving, you know, life of the party. All 3 of them, honestly. Always life of the party, laughing, joking.
The 3 of them were very close. They touched a lot of other people in different ways.
Lester Overton coached Hazel and Linton in football at Wise.
AJ was very athletic, didn't fear anything, didn't fear anybody. Isaiah was just the funny man. He always challenged his coaches. A few times I met Kyrie, just an outstanding young man.
Jackson was set to start as a rookie for the Minnesota Vikings this year. Hazel working on his master's degree. And Litton set to play football at Bowie State this fall.
Life is short. At any given time, even when you're doing it right, God still has a plan.
Rest in peace, Kyrie. Rest in peace, Isaiah. Rest in peace, AJ.
And the Maryland State Police are still investigating this crash. Maryland State Police are investigating this crash. And Chris, the athletic director here at the school, says for this upcoming football season that the games will be played in honor of these three men. Reporting live from the high school tonight, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
Yeah, such a tough night there, Marielle. Thank you. We have new details tonight at 9. A stunning reversal in the Rust involuntary manslaughter case. All charges against Alec Baldwin are dropped.
Your motion to dismiss with prejudice is granted.
Yeah, just some emotional moments there for Baldwin. You can see him sobbing as the judge gave the final instructions in a New Mexico courtroom. The evidence at the center of the dismissal could have shed light on how live rounds got into a film set where the cinematographer was fatally shot. The judge granted dismissal, however, because the defense accused prosecutors of withholding evidence. Speaking outside the courthouse door, special prosecutor says she respects the judge's decision, but believes the importance of the evidence was misconstrued by the defense attorneys.
Well, I didn't know that the ammunition that became the subject of today's hearing existed.
You still believe Mr. Baldwin is guilty?
That has never been a decision for me. That has always been a decision for the jury.
Well, Baldwin fired that fatal shot. However, he says the gun misfired and has always maintained it was supposed to be filled with blanks. Now that the case has been dismissed against Baldwin, it cannot be retried. On new at 9, a confirmed case of the measles in Arlington stemming from a person who visited a Harris Teeter earlier in the month. That's according to the county's Department of Health. Officials say the infected person was inside the grocery store in Glebe Road on July 1st from noon until 4 p.m. People who were exposed and are not vaccinated against measles should watch for symptoms until July 22nd. All right, take a look at this. Police say this car right here is wanted in connection to a shooting that injured a man in Northeast D.C. The car is a dark gray SUV with possible damage to the front bumper. That shooting happened around 2 this afternoon near 52nd Street and Sheriff Road in the Deanwood neighborhood. Police said the man who was shot was conscious and breathing when taken to the hospital. So far, no arrests have been made. DC News Now is your local election headquarters. President Biden is back on the campaign trail tonight after his high-stakes news conference. Our White House correspondent Raquel Martin reports on his visit to Detroit as questions swirl about his political future.
Please. On the heels of a consequential press conference where President Biden defended his decision to stay in the race.
I believe I'm the best qualified to govern.
The president is taking his message back on the road, this time to Detroit, Michigan. But as President Biden soldiers on, a growing number of Democrats are urging him to drop out of the race. Connecticut Congressman Jim Himes called on the president to step aside moments after the president's Thursday night news conference.
The qualification for the president of the United States is so much more than whether you can have a good news conference or a press conference.
Others, including Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush, appear to be wrestling with their decision to stand by the president.
Right now, 100% of the phone calls into our office are asking me to ask the president to step out of the race.
Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, who's challenged with keeping the party united, says he met with the president Thursday evening. In a Friday morning letter to congressional Democrats, even he stopped short of fully endorsing the president's campaign.
For now in Washington, Raquel Martin, back to you.
All right, meanwhile, California Congressman Mike Levin is the latest House Democrat to call on President Biden to drop aside. So in total, 18 House Democrats and 1 Senate Democrat are pushing for a new nominee. A new poll shows most U.S. adults say that an unwillingness to accept election results is a major problem for America. A poll surveyed Democrats, Republicans, and independents. All three parties agree there is concern as the November election approaches. The poll was conducted by Monmouth University in early June. Well, developing now at 9, an Arlington car shop owner is working to rebuild after a fire last week left about $250,000 worth of damage to a small business. You can see it here. It was caused by errant fireworks. DC News Now reporter Max Marcilla got a look inside.
The owner of the shop, Milan Jukalowicz, says the fire started back here at the back of the shop, made its way inside, and pretty quickly everything you see in this garage was up in flames. The damage is severe, and it's still hard for him to look at. But this is not just a job for him, it's also a passion project. It's why he wants to rebuild, and he's working on that now. But he's also hoping this can be a safety lesson for people, especially one they'll think about next July.
Oh my goodness!
This video from last Friday night shows the fast response from Arlington firefighters and the shock in the voice of Milan Jukalowicz.
Here you can see right here, there's a portion of grass that is burned.
A week later, Jukalowicz is showing us what happened. This security camera video shows it clearly. Look back here. You can see some sort of firework launched toward Wheel Repairs Pro on Charlington Drive and a neighboring shed, igniting these flames. This is what was left behind.
There's a bent machine, so we work on the bent wheels, straighten them back to normal.
Walking through the garage now, you can still smell the fire.
Every day is important for me. I know it's going to take some time, but every day is important for me to get back on the feet again.
Jukalowicz is working with insurance and the fire marshal to recoup the losses. He moved to Northern Virginia from Serbia more than 15 years ago, and his love for these cars is what started his business. He's motivated to not let this end it. He wants other businesses to make sure they protect themselves.
You never know what's going to happen.
And stands as an example of the dangers of fireworks. What's your message to people? We're going to have July 4th again next year, and people are going to have fireworks. What would you say to
like
them?
Everything. If you drive a vehicle and if you're drunk, you're supposed to be home or whatever. Like, you know, same. If you operate with the firework, you know what is legal, what not.
In Arlington, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
Meanwhile, 2 more men are charged in connection to a shooting at Manassas Mall. That brings a total number of people facing charges to 5. Tuesday's shooting left 2 people injured, including one of the suspects. Prince William County Police are still looking for a 6th suspect. We're told that's 18-year-old Tavion Thornton. Well, changes are on their way for DC-owned property in Northwest. DC officials approved zoning changes to 1617 U Street. That decision opens a door for about 300 new housing units in that space. Now, originally, city leaders wanted to add 500 units to the area, but that changed after public pushback. DC Council member Brianne Nadeau calls the scaled-down plan disappointing. A health alert for pet parents. The Maryland Department of Natural Resources is warning about harmful algae mats in the Potomac River. They pose a danger to your pet. The algae was discovered from below Williamsport to Riley Lock. Pet owners are being advised to keep their animals out of the water in that area until further notice. The algae looks like mounds of fine green cotton. You can see it here. It's usually found along the shoreline, attached to rocks or plants, or floating downstream. Well, it looks like FanDuel, the only DC-approved betting app, is getting some competition. BetMGM's app rolls out citywide Monday at noon. It's currently restricted to the area just around Nats Park. The company is celebrating the milestone at its sportsbook location in Nats Park with live go-go music and more. That event starts Monday morning at 7 o'clock.